Hi, I'm Leila Shuford, and I'm playing the role as Anne Sullivan.
Hi, I'm Haley Peffer, and I will be playing the role as Kate Adams Keller.
Hi, I'm Tiernan Ryan, and I'm playing both the roles of Mildred Keller and Helen Keller.
In 1880, I, Kate Adams Keller, along with my husband Arthur, was gifted with a beautiful little girl, Helen. She fell sick at only 19 months, leaving us devastated. When the doctors explained what was wrong, they told us she had developed a febrile illness, which means a sickness that has or shows symptoms of a fever. This illness left her deaf and blind, and it broke my heart knowing my little girl would have to live a life in the dark. As Helen advanced in age, it became harder for anyone in the house to connect with her and for her to communicate what she wanted or needed. We never anticipated how difficult this would be in day-to-day life. We sought help from an eye doctor in Baltimore named Dr. J. Julian Chisholm, but it was no use. He recommended someone named Alexander Graham Bell, who he hoped could provide guidance. He was our next hope, and we made an appointment with him in Scotland to see Helen. He recommended the Perkins School for the Blind, and in 1886, they found a teacher for my daughter. They sent Mrs. Anne Sullivan, and she was a miracle worker for Helen. She taught my daughter how to communicate with the world in a different way. She also taught us fingerspelling, so we're able to communicate with Helen. Over these last few years, I've had more conversations with Helen than I've ever had in her life.
W-A-T-E-R, water. It has a name. W-A-T.
When I met Helen, I was in a difficult place in my life, as was she. We are both dissatisfied with our ability to communicate with one another, being unable to see or hear, but incapable of understanding the world she was living in. She was frustrated with her inability to be understood. It took me aggravating months of hard work to get her out of the walls around her and take her out of the corner she had been living in. Over time, Helen said her first word, water. And I knew she understood what it meant. I was overjoyed. I finally felt like I did something significant to the sweet young girl for me. Communicate with the world around her. Because I went to the college residence, I also was able to meet my love and soon-to-be husband, John Albert Macy. Seeing Helen grow up was magnificent. I watched a girl with many challenges conquer her problems one at a time. When I was her teacher, I taught her over 60 different fingerspelling gestures that represented the letters of the alphabet in simple words. I was determined and focused. She was determined and focused. She did her best. I held back tears when she was the first deaf and blind person to receive a bachelor's of the arts. After she went to college, my husband offered her a job as a member of the Socialist Party, where she wrote several political articles and supported Eugene Debs when he was a Socialist Party presidential candidate. In 1924, Helen became an employee for the American Foundation for the Blind. Through years of hard work, Helen showed great perseverance, love, and fearlessness. I, Anne Sullivan, was proud to be her teacher.
Thank you for helping Helen with her communication and speaking. You were the one who gave her the true gift of communication.
Oh, Mrs. Keller, I should be thanking you for letting me educate your child, but my pleasure nevertheless.
Would you like to join me and Mildred, Helen's little sister, for a cup of tea and some biscuits? She has some questions about how you worked with Helen.
Certainly, I would love to.
So, Anne, how did you manage to teach my sister Helen? She was a difficult child. I remember when we were younger, she would throw tantrums and throw things across the room. She made a huge mess.
Well, it took a moment to click for her. She didn't quite understand the letters I was spelling into her hand, but when it did click, she became even more focused and determined to learn. Something I had to do is also be patient and respectful towards Helen when we were working together.
You mean finger spelling, like this?
Exactly.
What about her reading? I remember seeing her read the Bible.
Well, she was curious about reading, so I thought that letting her read would be an opening experience. I thought that reading the Bible would confuse her, so I taught her about spiritual matters, but nothing more. She learned about the new church on her own.
I completely understand, but how does she read?
How? Oh, well, I taught her how to read Braille, a technical writing system that people of Helen's condition use. You run your fingers over a specific pattern of bumps that represent letters and spell out words.
Oh, yes, of course. Do you want more tea?
Oh, no, thank you. Today we have amazing women who paved the path for all the deaf and blind population of the Union. And now introducing Helen Keller.
Over these years, I've had my challenges. I was able to overcome them with the support of my family and my dearest friend, Anne Sullivan, who helped me with my struggles and opened up my world of communication. I was never able to see or hear from a young age, so I never quite knew what was going on around me. I couldn't tell people when I was hungry or thirsty. I felt as if I was stuck in my own mind. I kept hitting my head on closed doors. As I like to say now, when one door of happiness closes, another opens. But often we look so long at the closed door that we do not see the one which has been opened for us. My door was closed when I was only 19 months, and it was opened several years later by Anne Sullivan, my teacher and my friend. Another door was opened for me yet again by Anne. She recommended me to her husband, who employed me as a member of the Socialist Party. Another door was opened for me when I was the first deaf and blind person to receive a Bachelor of the Arts degree. As much support as I got, just like everyone else, people doubted me. There were people who would always look over my shoulder. Keep your face to the sunshine and you cannot see the shadows. But nevertheless, I made sure that fingerspelling and Braille became a normal thing that people were aware of, so no one had to feel misunderstood.